Actually, can we take your phone out and just set it right there? Because
Of course.
pulling your whole shirt down.
I had that pockets especially put in there too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
phone pocket?
I have on all my shirts.
Wait. You had a pocket added to your shirt for your phone?
Yes, for this.
Can you put your phone back in there? Let me see that again.
And on my sweatshirts, I do the same thing. I can't. Where do you put your phone? It was driving me crazy. So I came up with this idea. How's your family, Phil?
Good.
Yeah?
Everybody's good.
That's good.
This is Bobby. We used to be neighbors. I said he lived down the block. He says I live down the block. He says he lives up the block. So we have a little disagreement about that. But Bobby has so many great stories. You're getting around pretty well, man.
Yeah, I've gotten much better.
Was it one or two knees?
Just one, the right knee. My name is Bobby Heller. I was born July 31st, 1940. I've had that name ever since that day. I knew when my mother was mad at me when she would say, Robert, then I knew, oh boy, I'm in trouble.
So tell us a story about how you met me.
So he had a bike, right? He had a bike.
I had a couple bikes, yeah.
Bikes, and I said, what are you doing, He said, I'm going to keep these bikes. I said, they won't last more than 2 hours, they'll be gone. He started to build this shed. And I said, you're going to need a lock for the shed. And he said, okay, so hey, you're pretty handy. I said, I'm wondering whether you can help me. I'm up the block, and I can't close a door that's underneath the stoop. He said, oh, I'll come right down and I'll fix it. And 1, 2, 3, he went up the block, fixed it, and that was the beginning of our professional relationship.
Tell us about this guy, Phil. I mean, and how much of an inspiration he's been to you through the years.
My father wound up running for Congress as a result of a guy by the name of Delaney who died. Delaney was the congressman from the area. My father was the district leader, and he had a lot of power. So he decided, well, Congress sounds like a good place to go. I'm nominating myself. Guess who won? My father wins. And one day, the phone rings. And I go to answer the phone. And we're in the living room. My father's sitting maybe 5 feet away from the phone. I'm near it. I pick it up. And I say, hello? And the woman says something. And I said, you must be kidding me. So I hang up. My father says, who was that? Someone said that they were calling for the President of the United States, Harry Truman. Oh, they can't be. Phone rings again, and I hear, Sonny, don't you hang up that phone again. It is the President of the United States, Harry Truman, calling your dad. He wants to thank him for being on his side. And I got like, wow, really? This is, Dad, I think it's the real thing. Oh, give me the phone. The next thing I hear is, yes, Mr. President. Yes, Mr. President. Oh, definitely, I can be there. You tell me when, I'll be there. So now my father's being sworn in, and the Speaker of the House was Sam Rayburn. It wasn't Nancy Pelosi, I can tell you that right now. And I'm sitting in the first row, and my father goes up to raise his right hand, be sworn in as a United States Congressman, and I follow him, and I'm holding the back of his, and the Speaker of the House says, who's that? I said, my name is Bobby Heller. He says, my son. And that's great.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm okay. Are you all right?
I'm doing well.
You don't,
How you feeling?
you don't mind being on camera, do you?
No, why?
You're doing a documentary about me.
On you?
Yes.
Oh.
All right.
How are you?
It's my girlfriend. I got a lot of girlfriends here.
He's He's the man right here. A lot of girlfriends. You feeling good though?
Yeah, I'm doing much better.
Ham and cheddar on a
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
So what sandwich is good?
Basically the same thing. Yeah, same thing. Oh, and I also like their turkey meatballs over here.
How about the miso crusted organic tofu? Is that what do you get that?
I get that every once in a while. I'm not that crazy about it.
For some reason I don't think you eat a lot of tofu.
Truman one day again calls the house. He says, now he's calling my father Louis. He says, Louis, I'd like you to come over for lunch. He said, when? He says, now. He said, I'll be right there. So my father goes to the White House. So now, after about a 2-hour lunch with my dad, my father walks out with Truman. Truman is following him into the hallway where there was a very large closet. My father pulled out his overcoat, and when he went to put it on, Truman came up to him and said, give me that coat. He said, what are you kidding me? And Truman insisted on putting my father's coat on him. Excuse me. And my father was in his mind was saying, here I am, first generation. No one in my house spoke any English, and here the President of the United States is putting my overcoat on. What a great country. I'm sorry, but it hit a not a sore spot, but a very sentimental moment in my life, and it's always with me. Anyway, moving on before I faint. Here's another place that we can sit.
Where? Right here at the bagel spot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do that. You want to sit right here?
Yeah, let me just annoy them first. Closed early, sold out bakers. Can you believe that? I remember going to the parade grounds right off Prospect Park. There were like 3 or 4 diamonds that you could play ball. And I was a pitcher and I did really well. Until some guy by the name of Sandy Koufax got up, who was a first baseman who played for Lafayette High School in Brooklyn. And I don't have to tell you, Sandy became one of the greatest left-handers in the history of the game. I pitched to him, and he just belted the ball all over the place. I wish I could have been a baseball player, and I was a good one. I had a tryout with the Brooklyn Dodgers. The tryout was like, I think in '57 at Ebbets Field. And I pitched to a guy, Rube Walker, and he was the backup for Roy Campanella, who became a Hall of Fame, a ball player. Rube said, we're going to offer you a minor league position to play on a minor league team. I said, where is it? And he gave me a name like Piedmont League in the Carolinas someplace or something like that. And I was thrilled. I would have played in Alaska. And I ran all the ways home. And I got home and I opened up the door and I said, Dad, guess what? I got an offer to play minor league ball. And my father very politely said, that's not going to happen. I said, what do you mean it's not going to happen? They gave me an offer. Forget it. You're going to become an attorney. You're going to law school. Dad, you're going to law school. Forget it. End of dream. Goodbye. And that was the end of my baseball career. My father pulled the rug from underneath me. He really did. And I'll never forgive him. No, I'm not kidding. No, it's... But this is what you're going to do.
Two, take one. Listen, we have to ask you a question. I'm taking a public survey. Do you know who Dr. Hook is?
Yeah, I know you are.
Dr. Hook, you know who Dr.
Yeah,
Hook
Dr. Hook,
is?
yeah.
Oh, you know who that is?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Dr. Hook.
What do they do?
Let's sing.
My partner, my former partner and schoolmate, who was then managing them, he said, look, I really would like you to come and be partners with me. I said, all right, let me think about it. I told Susan, my wife, about that, and she said, don't. I said, don't worry about it. One day I get into a fight with him, which was like an every minute occurrence with this guy. And he said, if you don't like it, why don't you just buy me out? I said, buy you out? I said, well, how much do you want? He said, I want $450,000. I said, well, that doesn't sound unreasonable, because knowing what the group was actually making in royalties. And I said, I'll write the check tomorrow. And I had hand-delivered the check. And he was aghast. He didn't know, oh my God. I said, you realize you have no more rights to this group on any level. And he was gone. And that year, well, let's call it a year and a quarter, I recouped that $450,000. And from that point on, it was all gravy. And it was gravy.
You might wind up, there's no blue sauce, wind up on the cutting floor. They will usurp all your talent, and God knows what we'll use them for. You might wake up on that barroom floor. This is, hey man, you an American? I ain't been back in the States since they let me out of prison. That's beautiful, man. Let me see a dollar bill, will you? I miss George's face. What do? You a runner? Yeah, Olympic runner? You're in good shape. Look at these calves, man. Look at this. You've been, oh man, solid like a rock. That's beautiful. Glorious.
So now the group is doing extremely well. I wanted to take my father to England to see some of these performances, and I needed to get there as fast as possible. Well, fast as possible was something called the Concorde, a very uncomfortable plane that had 2 seats and then 2 seats in a tiny little aisle going from the bow to the stern, so to speak. And there's my father. He's sitting in front of me, and I hear the gentleman next to him say, why are you going to London? What's bringing you to London? He said, well, it's my son. He managed some group called Dr. Hook. And the guy says, Dr. Hook, really? Yeah, and this guy's getting all excited. Really? Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, and my father said, yeah, but you know what? He could have been a great trial lawyer. He could have been a great trial. What's he doing with this cockamamie group? What, are you kidding me? And the guy was like flabbergasted by my father's reaction. I would have been a great trial lawyer. He would have been a great trial lawyer. What's this business? Rock and roll. Oh, ridiculous. Hi. You going shopping?
I am.
Yeah, what are you going to get?
I'm going to get clothes.
You're going to get clothes? It's too hot to get clothes.
You were in the reserves, right? The Vietnam War?
The answer is yes. The war was raging on, so I immediately joined the National Guard. And I told my father that if I hadn't joined, I would have gone to Canada. And I used to have vicious fights with him about the war. With all due respects, that I don't believe in this war. It's criminal. Now, years later, I'm grown up. I went to see him. All of a sudden, I looked over, and he's crying like a baby. I said, Dad, what's the matter? He said, I want to apologize to you. About what? He said, you were so right about this war. So right. I should have never, ever tried to defend that war. And I said, you don't have to. I apologize. And he was in absolute tears. I said, don't worry about it. It's over. And it was just a great lesson in forgiveness, you know. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get this show on the road.
Let me take the mic off you too, real quick.
Any regrets? Not really. I don't think I have any regrets. Sounds corny, but we've heard people say this, you know, do the things that you love. Do those things that you love and stick to them. And don't try to be someone that you're really not.
You get 2 lemonades?
Yeah.
How come you get 2?
It's just easier to carry.
Then 1? I think 1 would be easier to carry.
No, and it's a part of my shopping. I have milk in there and whatever.
Oh, okay.
Cheese.
Tofu?
No, I'm not a tofu guy.
Yeah, I didn't think you were.